Hi, I'm Scott from Lion's Eye, and this is Marketing 101. Marketing is the process that transforms people who have never heard about your product or service into people ready and willing to buy your product or service. I personally hate selling, and I wanted people to be able to come to me with their wallets out, ready and willing to buy, without me having to be a pushy salesman. So for this reason, I decided to learn marketing. And the rest of this video is me going step by step through the basic things you need to know before you start marketing. Step 0 of Marketing 101 is know your business in and out, especially the numbers. So if you have a product or service, let's say you sell decks, and a deck sells for $8,000. And after all the materials and the labor and the other expenses, you get $1,000 profit out of it. So how much are you willing to pay for a customer to get those $1,000 profit? For example, if you could buy customers for $250, if you're smart, you see this $1,000 profit. So every $250 you spend, you get a new customer. That leaves you $750 profit. So you'll buy as many customers as you possibly can at $250 because this is going to grow your business. But if you're not smart and you don't know your numbers, then you're going to see this $250 per customer and think, whew, that's crazy. I don't want to pay that much for a customer. And you're just going to rely on word of mouth, and your business is not going to grow quickly. So it's very important that you know these numbers. So the action items for this step are figure out what your average profit is per customer and figure out how much you're willing to spend to acquire a new customer. This is very important before we do any more work in marketing. Step 1 of Marketing 101 is know your customer. And everyone skips this step and they don't really want to think about it. They just want to start selling, but this is the most important step. And I think a metaphor works really well here. Now let's imagine you're the world's greatest pickup artist and you're an amazing seducer and you're rich and handsome. If the woman you're going after is a lesbian, it doesn't matter. It's too late. You've lost before you've begun. And lots of people do this with their marketing. Like as an example, let's say you open up a dance club and you advertise on the radio about your new dance club, and you even pick the radio station that plays the same type of music. The only problem is that nowadays a lot of your customers, they're not even listening to the radio anymore. They're listening to streaming music services like Spotify. Another example is, let's assume you're a lawn maintenance company and you're trying to do some landscaping jobs. So you print a whole bunch of flyers and send them out to a really good neighborhood. The only problem is the neighborhood you sent it out to is full of student housing, and none of these people actually care for their own lawns. So all these flyers you sent out are just getting thrown right in the trash. This is why it's very important that you know your market and know your customer very well. So before you start spending money on advertising, like you don't want to be wasting all this money. So you want to be doing some in-depth analysis to determine where your customers are and how you can connect with them. So the action items for this step are find out where your customers are and figure out where you can connect with them. And it's very important that you do not guess. Like you want to know 100% for sure. Do not guess. Step 2 is branding. If you build a brand, you're going to be able to charge premium prices for your product or service, and it's going to help you stick out in a crowded marketplace. Just look to any normal grocery store for this example. You have like regular pizza pops and premium like McCain pizza pops, and they're always 50% more for basically the same thing. And the reason is that people are willing to pay more for the premium branded products because they've built up trust with this brand. They don't have to worry about making a bad mistake. That's what the brand is doing. It's allowing them to set their fears aside and they can say, I know and trust this brand, so I'm just going to buy it even though it costs me a little bit more. And Starbucks is a really good example of this because they charge premium prices for their coffee and they're all across, everywhere. And if you go to a new city or a new place you've never been, then a lot of the time people will just go to Starbucks because they don't want to have to worry and check out the local coffee scene and try and figure out where a good cup of coffee is, so they just go to Starbucks. The reason I don't use Tim Hortons for this example is because Tim Hortons is trying to compete on price very heavily. They offer cheaper products. So you want to be building your business to try and serve probably the top of the market. It's a lot easier to build a business this way. Remember, a brand is not a logo or a design or anything like that. It's how people feel when they see this logo or design. So some action items for this step is to figure out some consistent branding to use for your business. So logo, font, design, colors, all this stuff. You want it to be consistent across every area of your business so that when you build up your brand by providing great services and informing customers about things, then it's going to build up the brand and eventually your brand's going to become more powerful and you can charge premium prices. Step 3 is know your competitors and find a USP. So one of the main reasons you want to know your competitors is to figure out where they're advertising and see what is effective and not in your industry. So and just be careful, it's not the blind leading the blind here, but if you have a whole bunch of different competitors all advertising in the same spots, it's probably an effective place for you to be spreading your message as well. And the second reason is for the USP, or unique selling proposition. So you should be looking at all your competitors and their offers and figure out what makes you different, what makes you better, what can you advertise to stick out amongst all the competition. And it can't be something simple like, oh, we provide the best customer service. Everyone says they provide the best customer service. You need to have a better reason to sell what you're selling. So for example, a new cab company might say, oh, all our cabs come with a freshening station that includes cologne and gum and shoe polish or something like that, so that this sets this cab company apart from all the other cab companies in the area. And you're gonna have to use your imagination and come up with some different ways to stick out from your competition until you can build up a powerful brand and be known for quality, and then you don't have to have such a unique selling proposition because you're just the best. So the action items for this step are research your competition to figure out where they're selling and come up with a USP for your brand. Step 4 is consider your customer journey. And a customer journey is simply the steps the customer needs to take before they buy your product or service. Now, if you have a low priced product or service, like let's say you own a hot dog cart, that's $3 for a hot dog. The customer journey is very short. Basically, it is the customer is hungry, they see your hot dog cart, they walk over and buy your hot dog. But if you have a very expensive product or service, then it doesn't happen that quickly, but yet people are still trying to sell it like it happens that quickly. So for example, there's a personal injury lawyer in my town and their billboard says, injured, call this number. Like, why would I call the number? I don't know who you are. I'm not going to just call you right away. Like, I know this is going to be an expensive thing. You're a lawyer. It's going to be maybe thousands of dollars for me. So why should I trust you right away? So instead, what they should be saying is, hey, check out, I got Mrs. Smith $50,000 because of this car accident she was in. And then, so now if you're in a state where you need a personal injury lawyer, you'll be intrigued and you'll check out what they're trying to show you. So if you go to their website and you see, oh, how they got Mrs. Smith $50,000, Mrs. Jones $75,000, and I don't know, I'm not good at coming up with names, but just case study after case study after case study of all these people that they've gotten money for, and they basically shove so much proof in your face that you'd feel stupid to go with any other lawyer. Now that's an excellent customer journey because you've convinced the prospect that you are the best by just showing them all this proof. So now they're going to be much more likely to call you and schedule an appointment with you. So the action items for this step are figure out whether your product or service needs a short or long customer journey and how you can facilitate this by making it easier for the customer to make the right decision and choose you. Step 5 is find marketing channels and track everything. So are you going to be advertising online, in the newspaper, on the radio, on the billboard? There's all these different marketing channels, and even online there's like a whole bunch of different. So you can do Facebook advertising, you can do organic Facebook posting, you can do Google ads, you can do SEO, you can do Instagram ads, you can do Instagram influencers, on and on and on. So you have to figure out what the best place for traffic is for your product or service. And the second thing you want to do is track everything down to like as finely as you possibly can. So for example, if you're using Google ads, you can track with 100% certainty if leads that come into your business have come in through Google ads or if they've just come in sporadically. Like you want to know 100% for sure if the money you're spending on the advertising is actually the thing that's generating you results, or if you just throw money at it and hope some stuff comes in. That's what most people do, but you want to be tracking this stuff so you know if it's actually working, and then you know if you can optimize it or if you should choose a different marketing channel or if your message isn't working. Like all this stuff should be tracked so you know what's going on. So the action items for this step are figure out some different marketing channels that would be good for your business and find out a way to set up tracking for these channels. Maybe, for example, if you're just putting out flyers, put a little coupon on it so that you know 100%, oh, if this coupon comes in, it came from the flyer. And I know it's cost me $500 to send all these flyers out, but we generated 12 leads from it. So then you have to decide if that's worth it or not. So be smart about this and track everything you do. Step 6 is create an amazing customer experience. You know what? It's true. Marketing actually kind of sucks too. I don't like sales. I don't like marketing either. But ideally, if you can create an amazing customer experience, then they'll just do all through word of mouth and come to you, and you won't have to do any marketing either. It's the best way to do it. This is what Tesla does. Like their product is so amazing that people just talk about it and they don't have to do any advertising at all. Now, obviously, it's going to be difficult for your product or service to be as amazing as Tesla, but if you can create an amazing customer experience that people talk about, then maybe word of mouth will be good enough and you won't have to do any marketing at all. And that's always the goal, I think, for any business, is to figure out how to stop doing marketing altogether. But you're really going to have to go above and beyond to make this customer experience as amazing as possible. So some action items are: figure out how you can surprise and delight your customer. And anyway, that's Marketing 101. Hopefully this gave you a brief overview and a good framework you can start to follow without going into all the nitty-gritty, but at least you kind of know the general steps you should take before starting marketing. Now, obviously, each one of these steps you can go very in-depth into. Branding, that's a whole thing you can study. You can even study parts of each step. So, for example, your customer journey. Maybe email marketing is a part of your customer journey, and you have to figure out how to do email marketing and autoresponders and copywriting. But in general, you should always be a part of this general framework so that you can do your marketing properly. Thanks for watching.